Hey everyone, Aaron here from Arrow. Today we have an exciting release video. We're going to be going through our OpenAI integration. So before I get into things, a couple of things to note. Now this is a beta integration. It's essentially the first stage release. We are looking to enhance this over time, but we want to sort of throw it out to any early adopters that maybe already have an OpenAI API account that want to plug that into Arrow and start generating some content and a few other things like that using AI. Now, you're going to see a little bit more about what you can do with it, but just in a nutshell, so you know what it's capable of before you listen to me go through the whole integration process. We have integrated it primarily in our text editing areas. Okay, so anywhere you're providing or generating text within Arrow software, such as your listing descriptions, team member profiles, or sending an email to a vendor or a buyer, you're going to be able to pass AI prompts through to OpenAI and have that content automatically generated for you. We've also created some default prompts for you, particularly in the listing area, that will automatically compile the details of the listing that you're working on and pass that through to OpenAI to save you from having to write prompts all the time. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to start at the top just for anyone that doesn't have an OpenAI account, just to show you the process of generating an API key and then putting that inside Arrow. I've skipped the process of creating an account with OpenAI because that is very straightforward. So we've jumped straight into our OpenAI account, as you can see on my screen here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the API option because we are going to be using an API key. Okay, now that's going to log you into the docs area. Typically, it might take you somewhere else if you've been in here before. You're going to want to go ahead and create a project. Okay, now you'll probably start off with a default project, so you can just use that one, or you can go ahead and create a new project called Arrow CRM or something like that if you want to separate it. Okay, we're going to work off the default project, and that's fine to use as well if you're not too sure what to do there. Okay, so we'll leave that as default project, and then what we're going to do is we're going to switch to dashboard up the top right. And down the left-hand side, we've got some options here. We're going to go to API keys. Okay. Now you'll see that I already have an API key in here, but we are going to generate a new one. So all we do is we click on Create New Secret Key up in the top right-hand corner, and we give it a name. I'm just going to call mine Arrow CRM2 because it's the second one I've created. We're not going to change any ownership permissions. We're going to leave that assigned to our default project. Of course, if you have a unique project that you want to use, you'd assign that. We'll leave permissions set to all because we don't want to restrict anything. And then we'll go ahead and click on Create Secret Key. And that's going to generate this API key. Now, you're not going to be able to see my API key on your screen for security reasons, so you won't actually see that there, but there will be an API key in this pop-up. You need to click on Copy. You'll see that gets copied to your clipboard. So now we are just going to jump into our Arrow software account. So as you can see here, I am already logged into my account. I'm going to go ahead and click on the setup menu in the top right-hand corner there. And then we're going to come down to integrations. We'll scroll down the bottom here, and you'll see that we've got an open API integration here. Now, if you have not yet requested access to this, this is on request only because it is a beta release. If you haven't yet requested access, you've probably already got an email telling you about this release. Just hit reply to that and request access, and our friendly support team will go ahead and turn that on for you and probably send you a link to the video that you're watching right now. Now, once it's turned on, you'll see a setup cog here. Click on that, and then we are going to go ahead and put our API key in there. We're going to click activate. We're going to validate the credential. And you'll see here, assuming you've set up an API key and you've copied it incorrectly, there's not a lot that can go wrong there. It should just pop up with connection appears okay. We'll then click on OK, and we'll go ahead and click activate and save. Okay. And we'll get a success message down the bottom. Now that is now active on my account. Okay, so I'm going to close that integrations page. And from there, we can start using it. So let's jump into some of the things that we've got available within the Arrow CRM. First thing I'm going to show you is I'll just jump into a listing. And I'm going to pick that listing there, and I'm just going to edit that listing. And I'm going to come on down to my description, my property description. So basically, you're going to see some AI tools anywhere that you have a description or text area in the software. Okay, so I'm going to click on edit here, and you'll see that we've got these new icons up in the top right hand corner. We've got an AI icon. We've got this magic wand, which is just some more AI prompts, and then we have a prompt that's more specific to the area that we are. So for this particular page, we're on a listing. I have a prompt here to actually generate the description. So let's get started with that. I'm going to click on generate description. What that does is it essentially automatically writes the prompt for you using details from the listing. Okay. So it's taken key details, so addresses, categories, a whole bunch of features, the price. It's got some other prompts in here as well, like do not include a heading, just because OpenAI likes to put headings all through your description, whereas we typically don't do that on a listing that's then going up to portals. So there's some prompts in here that we've been testing, and it's been giving us a good result. Now, you can change this prompt as you go through here, all right? So if you want a heading, you can delete that. If you don't want the price mentioned, you can delete that, okay? Same goes for these options down the bottom here. We've got include image content for suggestions. So what we've done is we've actually integrated with the OpenAI model that allows it to scan your images. So it will actually access the images that you've already uploaded to this particular listing, look at the content of those images, and then use that content or use those use the visual features of those images when it's writing that description. Okay. If you don't want that to happen for whatever reason, maybe you don't have images, or the images are, say, just of a block of land, then you could go ahead and turn that off. Okay. The other thing it's going to do automatically is it is going to write a little suburb profile using obviously the suburb that's on that particular listing. And again, if you don't want that, just turn it off. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just generate with all our standard options in this one, and we'll see what it gives us. Now, the time it takes to generate this content varies depending on your OpenAI account, how their servers are going. It's very much out of our control. Sometimes it's nice and quick like that. Sometimes it can take 15, 20 seconds. So just be patient while that's loading, and it will give you that content back. Okay. So as we can see here, we've got our content returned from OpenAI. Now we've got a few options here. We can make some changes here before we insert it. We can just say try again, and it will regenerate that content with the same prompt with some slight variations. Or we can discard and quit that. We can also ask it to make some modifications to that existing content. So say there was just a few things that we weren't happy about, or we wanted it to talk a little bit more about a certain feature. Or maybe we want it to just include a list of features, right? So I could just go, please include a short list of features at the end of the description. And we'll go ahead and click generate on that. And okay, so now that it's generated that content again with that short list of features, we can just scroll down and you'll see, there we go. We've got a list of features just in here, okay? And we can keep going with that. We can give it some more prompts. Any of you that have used OpenAI, you'll know that it's gonna give you different responses. So we can keep trialing a few things, or we can take bits and pieces out of this content and insert that. Once we're happy with that content, we'll just go ahead and click insert. Now, and you'll see that that's inserted that content into the page here. Now it's going to default to inserting that at the top of the content if we didn't delete the existing content, right? So I didn't do that. So we've got that content showing at the top. So we'll just go ahead and delete our existing stuff. And you'll see that AI generated content's now in our description field. Now we've got a few other options here as well. So within this content box, we can also highlight a specific section, and we can ask it to change something with that section there. So, and that will only apply to the section that we've highlighted. we can use one of these default prompts for that specific section. So we can ask it to summarize, improve, simplify, expand, trim, or change tone and style. And that's just for that section that we've highlighted. Same goes for the entire section. If we wanted it to apply one of those prompts to all of the content, we'd just highlight it all. Okay, you can just manually highlight it, or Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, and that'll highlight all of that content. And then again, these prompts show once I've got any content highlighted. Okay, or now that everything's highlighted, I could use these prompts up in the top of the screen. Okay, so for example, we'll just go ahead and give it a go with summarize content. And you'll see that's taken that relatively long description and turned it into a more short bullet style list of details. And we can go ahead and insert that straight away. And you'll see, because we had all of our content highlighted, that's actually gone ahead and inserted that content over what was there previously. Okay. All right, that's our default prompts within the listing side of things. Now, a couple other examples I'll show you real quickly is in the send email form. Okay, so if we go ahead and just click on a new email, and I'll just change to a different email address just to get rid of that warning. Because we are using a text area in this send email form, okay, whichever email is, like I said earlier, anywhere that we've got that text field, we now have these AI prompts here, okay? So obviously you need to put in who you're sending it to and the subject and things like that. But a really good use case here would be to write an email, a short email, and you can then use one of the prompts to either summarize it or expand on it. Or you might have a template loaded in the system that you want to have it expand on just to keep it new, keep it fresh, that kind of thing. Either way, we're going to insert some content. And then from there, we can easily highlight that text, and then we can ask it to expand on that content there. Okay. Like I said, you could also insert a template. Okay, so there's a inspection feedback request template. We go ahead and insert that. Choose our listing. Okay, so this particular template has merge fields, and then we can go and expand on that content there. Now, if you're expanding on content with merge fields, just be aware that OpenAI doesn't know the Arrow software merge fields. Okay, so it's not going to write them in the right format because they can't know what our merge field format is. Okay, so just be wary. You want to try and just highlight bits of content that are that don't have merge fields that you want to have it expand on. Alternatively, I could just ask it to generate some content from scratch. Write an email to a prospective seller about booking an appraisal at their property, 30 Ross Crescent. What was the address we're on, actually? Yep, 30 Ross Crescent, Sunshine Beach. I'll go ahead and generate that, and you'll see that that's got some content there. We'll insert that. OpenAI has gone ahead and written us an email, and then from there we can go and change that. Again, we can highlight it and we can ask it to summarize the content, improve the writing, whatever we like. As most of you will be aware, whenever you're using this content, whenever you're using things like OpenAI, a lot of the time it's only as good as the data you give it and the prompts you give it, and most of the time it's there just to give you that head start and give you a bit of some ideas, I suppose, when you're writing copy or writing content, just to kick things off. If you've got a bit of a block, a mental block, and you're not able to come up with something, this is a handy tool just to be able to get the ball rolling and start sending an email or writing that description for that property or whatever it may be. Okay. Now, just to reiterate, I know I've said it a couple of times, but this tool is available in any text area in the software. Okay, so I've only shown you listings and sending emails today. If I'm writing content in a newsletter or generating a social media ad using Amplify, or writing one of my templates in an automation workflow, they're all using content or text, and this OpenAI integration is going to be available in all of those areas once you set up the integration, okay, following those steps we went through at the start of the video. Also, it is a beta release, so we're sort of fine-tuning things and adding more default prompts to the Arrow user interface as time goes on. If there's any ideas or anything you'd like to see us add in the way of default prompts, please feel free to send it through, and we'll look at adding it into those specific areas of the software. Like I said, really excited about this release. Any questions at all, please come back to us by either giving us a call or sending an email. Thank you.